are having an absolutely wonderful, 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 wonderful day. Please hit that like button. Please take care of that for me. Please, 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 please. Subscribe if you are not already subscribed to the channel. Please do that. I would appreciate it. This little webcam always gets in the way. I would appreciate it. But listen, go around that way, go down. So, fam, this ain't gonna take us too much time to get through. I don't anticipate it. That's not something I anticipate. I don't anticipate this gonna take us no time. And listen, if you have not, if for some reason you have been hiding under a rock or things have been happening to you, or life has just been happening to you, I understand. But please, when you get a chance, please go to joinados.com. Please join in with what we're doing. Join the movement, all of that good stuff. Now, fam, we got to talk about something. Sometimes people just go over the line, and that's just what it is. It is what it is. Sometimes people just go over the line, they walk over the line, and then you say, well, you know what? I have done what I feel is a good job of in terms of YouTube really kind of not going into this thing, but this is a bridge too far. So that happened to me. And it was a comment that Ricky Smiley made, right? And he said, he said something to the extent, I can't remember the exact verbiage because I don't pay attention to a lot of things that much, but I can't remember the exact verbiage, but he said something to the extent in reference to Deion Sanders, that Deion Sanders has changed Colorado, this white school, into an HBCU. Now I want you to let that sit, fam. That because for you all who need a refresher, Deion Sanders left Jackson State, decided to go to everybody all right? Everybody all right in the chat? Okay. Decided to go to the Colorado Buffs, Buffaloes, whatever. Who cares? But he decided to go there. And listen, that's all right. I want everybody to understand, like I have a problem with the way he did the whole thing. I talked about it. You came in as Moses, and you were going to fight for the people and all that kind of stuff, and you left talking about Ecclesiastes, talking about there's a time and there's a season, and you said God brought you there, but really it was your business, the woman who does your business for you, who kind of told you should be a coach. So I don't know. Maybe God spoke through her. I do not know. But I know I am tired of people manipulating my people, and the best way to manipulate y'all is through through something racial, and say I'm going to be there. Deion Sanders did an interview a while back when he was talking about this, and they said, well, and he was asked, and I'm not going to play it, what makes this so special for you? And he says, I'm going to go and I'm going to be with my people. I look my people in the eye, and that's special to me. It's something about us competing being able to compete with private white institutions. And instead he used that as a stepping stone to be a part of a private white institution. That was always the plan. That was always the end game. I just wish he could have come in there and said, hey, I'm a great coach. Let me coach here. And I'm not committing to anything but coaching here, right? And making Jackson State the best it could be. That's not what happened. But I'm just trying to give everybody a refresher course just in case people don't remember. Now, I didn't say a lot about it. I didn't make a whole lot of fluff about it except on Twitter, right? But you have made Buffalo into a HBCU or whatever kind of nonsense he said is very problematic to me. Because you have an opportunity. Let me tell you something. We have an opportunity, and don't talk to me about HBCUs. I can't hardly stand mine most of the time, but we have an opportunity to follow HBCUs, but I wanted to see if something happened. I wanted to see, everybody was like, no, we always support, but Deion got to take the money. He got to take the money. I would take the money too. Well, you ain't Deion, and you ain't never been Deion, ain't never gonna be Deion. I remember when Deion was Neon Deion in these Georgia Falcons, right? When he was with the Atlanta Falcons. I remember when he was Neon Deion and he wasn't prime time. You never gonna be him. Superb, superior athlete. That will never be your life. And he never needed the money. But one of the problems that I have, and I want to ask this, how do we define a hero? Because I want to slow down for a second. I've been seeing that word go around, and I think, how many times have we told you that in this era, careers are passed down? Careers are not something that you make. We're coming out of the era where you can really come out of the ghetto and just do whatever. You have to have that parent. So Deion is right to put his kids in whatever position. Now, they don't have to be, right? Because he's good. So stop saying, one of the things y'all got to stop saying is, well, if I was him, I would. You could never see life through the lens of a superior athlete who raised superior athletes. You can never do that. That is not your life. So you got to stop seeing it through that. You have to stop seeing it through that lens. You have to start seeing everything through the lens of collective uplift. If that's what you want. If you don't want collective uplift, I ain't got to be here. None of us have to be here. Politics don't got to be here. Because what he is doing is he is trying to extend his legacy for his family. He was a superior superior is an understatement to what Deion was in his time. He is trying to extend that. He is trying to have a legacy where his son can be a quarterback, where he can be a coach. That is great for his family. And I don't begrudge him that at all. But the problem is, we get so caught up in what one man is doing for his family. You would think this man is a civil rights leader or a president, given the amount of attention that we pay to him. You would think he is running for something. You would think that the latest Civil Rights Act was something that he got through or something with the amount of attention. And you have gone from, like I said, I wanted to see when Deion left, would the attention leave Jackson? And it did, because the attention in our community especially follows ADOS celebrity. It doesn't follow ADOS community. We don't follow our community and support our community. We support our celebrities. And that's what I see. And I knew that's what I was going to see. But I said, let me see. Maybe they changed. Ain't nothing changed. We support our celebrities far more than we support our institutions and our people. Half of you guys, some of you guys who even talk about Deion, you talk about what a great father he is to his kids. I agree. But you care more about what kind of father he is to his kids than what you are to yours. Your family has a legacy. It's great. Hey, go emulate Deion, right? Go do the best you can with your kids. But this ain't it. This is not collective uplift. Half of y'all can't even name an HBCU coach. The only coach you can name is Deion, and you showing up for this. So let me slow down and get into this article a little bit, because I don't want anybody saying, Yvette, they ain't calling him no hero. That's not what they saying. Yes, they are. That's what I just showed you. After his team's first victory earlier this month, University of Colorado football coach Deion Sanders said something remarkable. He talked bluntly about racism and football in a way that few black coaches at an elite level are willing to do. Well, hold on. Let me come out of that 1 second. He did that because he's Deion. He is already a multimillionaire. Like, you're making him a hero as if he got picked to be a coach off his marriage. Remember, wasn't nobody checking for Deion to be a coach, right? Wasn't nobody checking for him to be a coach. He didn't have that. He was a retired player, but they wasn't checking him to be a coach. So, of course, when he gets into a space, yes, he can say that because this was his last home. So he can say that. He can say whatever he want to say. If they send him home, so what? Right? He can say what he wants to say. Second of all, though, the easiest way, let me tell y'all a little something about storytelling. The easiest way to get somebody to show up and watch those games and root, Negroes wasn't going to show up to watch no Colorado games ever. We ain't even heard of no Colorado Bluff Buffs. We ain't heard of that. They had a losing season last season. The way to get people to view is to have some kind of rivalry. And the way to do that, if you're Deion or half the other people who want to talk about this stuff, the way you come up with that kind of rivalry in America is to make it racial. So you start talking, people ain't used to a black man talking like this and a blackity black. But then when you get with Stephen A. Smith or whatever, all of a sudden, you switch it up all the time. And I see the switch up. You for all people. You good Christian. Over here, you talking blackity black. I see the switch up. I see it. It's so smooth on a basic level. but you're dealing with a lot of basic people who are watching this. So you're getting viewers. That's money. That's rivalry. You got white people now talking about, oh, Oregon did the work of everybody. So you got this rivalry thing going on. And let me say this too. I don't understand why half of y'all was it didn't make sense. It really didn't. I'm just going to put this video up kind of like while I'm talking. But half this stuff didn't make no sense when you look at if you look at Oregon's team. I saw a bunch of what I think were Negroes. So how are we? Well, we rooting for. Well, no. We rooting for Deion. The team is black. No, don't stop acting like. Stop acting like Deion is working for an HBCU. Still, he's not. There are Negroes on both of these teams. You are rooting for a man because of the way he talks and because of his celebrity and because of the way you like it. And there's nothing wrong with rooting. You just take it too far. There's nothing wrong with rooting for Deion and say, you know what? I like the way he parents his kids. I like the fact that he was at Jackson. I'm going to root for him. Y'all just take it too far. My people take it too far. He gets to be the biggest hero of heroes. How? He is doing what is best for his family. He appears to me to be a family man. That is a good thing. You should look at that and say that's a good thing. If you want to root for him, but don't make it. Both of these are white schools. Last I checked, Oregon and Colorado are both white schools. Am I wrong? Like, I'm not talking about the teens right now, the student body. Am I wrong about the student body? Am I wrong about that? I think they are. So what are we talking about? And it's not just that. See, we can't ever the reason I even bring this article up right here is because we can't ever, and I'm going to get back to the quote, but we can't ever just let a game be a game. We can't ever just let a sport be a sport. You can't ever just show up and say, hey, he's there, I'm going to root for him, got good kids, hope Shadua does well or whatever, and just let that be there. It's always got to be some big issue that takes all of the air out the room. So it's like, honestly, the only time we are allowed to really talk about politics at all is in the context of some celebrity. We can't talk about it no other way. If there is not a celebrity involved, we really can't even have a conversation about politics and what needs to happen. So if we were to say, hey, if I say to you, let me just show you a little bit about the hypocrisy of this. If I say to you, hey, what about why would we not talking a lot about Dr. Cornel West run for presidency? It's a third way to do things. You know what? A lot of people will say to me, a lot of enormous Deion fanatics. I'm not talking about Deion fans, I'm talking about Deion fanatic. They'll tell me, Cornel West ain't really down. He ain't really down for black folk. Well, you know what? Deion's at a white school. I saw him walking around to this little white lady and knocking on her door and saying he was saying to say hello. The school is white. The woman who figured it out, I think she's white. The one who said you should be a coach. What do you think Deion is? Do you think outside of his sons, his family, like he's living an ADOS life or just advocating for ADOS or doing this? He's doing this for his family, and that's great. You can't eat his achievements for his family though. Like that's not how any of this works. It's impossible. And it's impossible for us to even have the kinds of conversations we have if every time a celebrity get in trouble or every time there's a celebrity controversy, go look at our news. Go look at our news. When you see news, it's all the time. It's us showing up for a celebrity or us talking about a celebrity. Oh, when Meg Thee Stallion got shot, it was oh, I believe she lied. And then over here it was, oh, I don't think he would do nothing. And I don't. What are y'all doing? We are living as a group. We are living vicariously through celebrities. And the only people we will fight for are celebrities. We won't fight for ourselves. No, you won't fight for your own kid. Your own kid could be playing ball right now and you will be in there. And if it conflicts with you watching Shador, it's going to be problematic. Right? Because you're going to watch him play, right? Oh, y'all, I didn't even go outside. I didn't even go outside Saturday. I knew y'all was gonna be heart sick. I don't want to come across no Negro that's heart sick because them ducks done came and quacked all. I didn't want to get out there. Y'all get too emotional. Too emotional about a game. It's a sport. It's a sport. Deion's been at the top of his game all his life. You cannot relate. Neither can I. Stop viewing that as some kind of likeness. It's all gotten to be a bit much. It really has. I'm gonna bring something else up in just a second I'm gonna finish with this story. Because one of the things they says is that he plays the race card when he should just coach football. His is about the derail train. But at least one columnist has noted Sanders also embodies the audacious blackness that so many African Americans hunger for right now. Listen, everybody got to stop hungering for audacious blackness. I'm sorry if anybody's feelings is hurt. I'm so sorry. But that's not something to be hungry for. I've heard very smart people say, well, I think white people need to get used to how to deal with that kind of Negro. They've been dealing with Deion for a long time. Y'all remember when Deion threw the water on the man? We have. Let me bring this up. Oh, let me bring the next one up. Hold on a second. Black America's embrace of Sanders and his team is now well documented. One black commentator has compared him to Muhammad Ali. I'm not even gonna touch that. Do y'all remember what Muhammad Ali did in the draft and all this stuff, and even him with the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X? Y'all remember all that political stuff Muhammad Ali did, and they already making these comparisons. I'm surprised somebody ain't writing a book about it already. Numerous black celebrities, from rappers Master P and Lil Wayne to LA Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard and actor Dwayne The Rock Johnson, have made appearances at his games. So the games have been celebrity. They have gone from, and let me tell you, all the Negroes showed up. I think Shannon Sharp showed up he had to get in a jet. I saw a clip somebody sent me of Shannon Sharp in a private jet going to see the game. I promised him I'd be there. And then Ocho Cinco asked a good question. He said, "What would you have to fly a private jet to be there?" And it was the smartest thing I ever heard, because it was the dumbest thing anybody can ever do. Let me tell you, Negroes only fly in private jets to be seen and to be envied. Well, what, Yvette? Maybe they needed a private jet. No, you don't never need no private jet. Hey, did you just sleep in a bed before getting on the jet? Hey, are you going to see a bed tonight? So why you need to sleep on the jet for? Why would you pay $30,000, $50,000 for a flight just so you can sleep, on the plane? I'll tell you why, so you can photograph yourself. So you can photograph yourself on the plane. So you can photograph yourself. This is how I'm going to see Deion. Everybody's showing up. Now listen, all these celebrities are showing up. Everybody's showing up. Celebrities, regular people showing up for Deion. But you ain't showing up for yourselves. You ain't showing up for each other. You ain't showing up for HBCUs. You ain't showing up for your schools. You ain't showing up for PTA meetings. You ain't showing up for city council meetings. You ain't showing up for zoning meetings. You ain't showing up for nothing. But you will show up when it's time for that game, boy. I was Deion. And I realized that there's something about us where we really feel like when we show up and we watch something on TV or we tweet about it, we really feel like that is a form of advocacy. Yeah, man, Deion, and we get to talk about it. You get to talk about it with your friends, right? Yeah, I really like what Deion said and what Deion did. I think he did a good thing. And I was rooting for him. And I got me a Colorado shirt and a Colorado hat. And in some way, we have gone almost delusional to believe that instead of that just being a sport, what that means when that's a sport is really and truthfully, when it's over with, you can talk a little bit about it, but you throw that away. That ain't nothing that should make you pump your chest out and that ain't nothing that should really do that for you. But we do it with all celebrities, right? When you look at ADOS celebrities, what happens is whenever they get in trouble, we show out. And I always ask people to come back 6 months to a year later and tell me what was the benefit of that. Because Deion is going to be all right. And regardless of what his kids do in the league, he going to be all right. His kids going to be all right. Or you going to be all right. Is your family going to be all right? So you have to know how to weigh these things. It's not about, I'm not talking about trashing Deion or whatever. You have to weigh things in a way that you have to weigh how stuff matters. Like what matters most and what matters least. In terms of what matters in your life, sports and celebrity and all that trash matters the least. There's no really such thing in my mind as sports journalism or celebrity journalism. That matters not. That is an outlet. That is something fun to do on the weekends. It's something fun to watch. That is not nothing that you should be embroiled in debates and wasting time with and feeling like you did nothing about. But y'all did the same thing. And I said, how will this matter 6 months to a year from now? So when Kyrie Irving got in all that stuff, everybody, oh, he got it right. Da, da, da. I don't care. I don't even get into whether or not he's right or wrong. I don't care. I don't care what Kyrie Irving do. Right? I don't like what if he's in trouble. I'm not gonna try to save his job. He can save his own job. He can play basketball. He can dribble that thing. That's all you got. Hey, he can play the sport. He'll figure it out. He don't need my help. But hey, y'all was outside. The Hebrew Israelites was outside. They didn't need to be outside. He didn't need their help. I haven't seen half of these people be outside for 8 hours. So the people I see outside for all these people, right? But they be outside. You know, I don't know. I see the thing that I have to say is I don't know what to do with people. And it's very hard to try to do politics and movement work for people who will show up for individuals but not the collective. This would be a very different conversation too if you were also showing up for the collective in the same way that you're showing up for the celebrity. Just don't. Like something could happen to an individual coach, right, who's coaching high school or who's coaching an HBCU or whatever, and nobody would say anything. They could have the same kind of controversy, not a word, but you love Deion, you love the flash, you love the gold chain, you love the diamond ring. I should have came on here tonight with a Cuban link necklace. You know, that's the way to get Negroes to pay attention to you. If you put on a diamond Cuban link chain, I see Negroes do it all the time. You put on that don't even have to be your thing. You put on one of them thick chains and Negroes pay attention. We follow Critical Conference. If it's shiny, oh my goodness, let it be shiny. Here we come. We go, oh, he must have some monies. They got the Cuban link chain and on. He got the pinky ring on. They must have some money. I think I messed up. I just should have found a way to get me one of them thick chains and put it on. Maybe with a little bracelet or something like that. And then when people click on the video, they'll see it and they'll be like, oh, okay. I should have, you know, in my life, I should have one of them watches that you know, you want to talk about creating appetites. I should have me one of these watches, shouldn't I? Now these are lessons I was that should be taught. Like I was watching, I think maybe I saw it. Antonio told me that like the biggest uptick in luxury items, right, is people who make under $50,000 a year. And I said, I wonder, under $50,000 a year in America is poverty basically. I said, I wonder why we used to not have this kind of appetite for Liberace stuff, and now we do. Well, it's because celebrities introduce that to us all the time and feed it to us and make us feel bad for not having labels and diamonds and all that stuff. So now you got this college football player who's running around with this thing on. Now, if you want to talk about impressions, I don't think that's a good one. And all the celebrities now are putting up their timepieces. I don't know how y'all get into this stuff. I could not care less. This is junk. I don't want to see I'm tired of rich people in general flashing their trash. I should have got me something though, because then everybody pay attention. It's like a bat signal now. Like we used to didn't care about that stuff. We didn't care about that stuff. Now it's like a bat signal. You flash a diamond, a Negro. Who? Somebody. We gotta pay attention. What kind of watch he got? What kind of watch? Okay, let's see. I saw Rick Ross post a video. When I saw that, I was smiling. I felt the same way. This is the Shadur way. DJ Khaled told Complex over Zoom. DJ Khaled of all things. Ain't he selling Beijing now? Deion Sanders represents that godly cloth. He's a legend. Shadur is another legend. What we're witnessing right now is very special. What's going on? And let me tell y'all something. Every time something happens, this is very special. I agree it's very special to his family. That's wonderful. I don't begrudge all that. But why are we taking them all this out the room right now to talk about this and deal with this? This is a lot for me. Like, what's going on in Colorado? Woke up the world in a beautiful way. How did it wake up the world? What are we talking about? And let me just say this. Let's say that Deion does become a coach at like FAMU or something, right? And let's say that opens the door to other coaches to become coaches at a Florida State or FAMU, other ADOS coaches. Let's say that happens. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we're in America. We should be able to integrate into that space. I don't think that's a negative thing if it happens. But even if it happens, you only have so many spots, and those are going to be very elite jobs, right? So even if that happens, and I agree it's a good thing, it's not as consequential as you think it might be. Most of the people that you know in your life, even if that works out for other people, and I'm being very generous here, even if it worked out for other people, it's not what you think it would be. It would not lead to any kind of collective uplift. So you have to measure your support and how you measure your support. But back to this little flashy jump. So he's shining his watch. Child, if y'all don't get all these diamonds away from me, I'd be so tired. Like, why are we doing all of this? I heard he drives a Rolls Royce. Yes, daddy rich, but I don't need to see that, and nobody needs to see that in college. I don't even like other kids in college seeing that. I don't even like having to deal with none of that. It's just to me, the whole thing is just stupid. Some people have confused Shadur's watch for a Rolex. It's actually a customized stainless steel. I don't even know how to pronounce that, child. Royal Oak 15,500, whatever, that has been flooded with 30 carats of VVS diamonds. I don't know why people love stuff that that they'll never see in their life. It's made of whatever that is. The owner of the Jacksonville-based jewelry company, Saki Diamonds, while I don't know how to pronounce your name, child, wouldn't give the exact amount. He said the custom is valued around $70,000. Y'all watching this? Listen, y'all watching him and thinking that you're gonna be the next Deion. And listen, that boy had an elite daddy, and so he inherited elite genes, and he will hopefully inherit an elite career. Good for him. What you raging about? What you got going on? I'm just trying to figure it out. I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. One of the things I really want to figure out, and I really want to figure this out, I promise you I do. And then maybe we'll get back to that CNN article. I really want to figure out how much money is enough, because I think as a community we're lying. We are lying to each other, and we're lying to ourselves. So we always say we want community. We got to build up our stuff. We got to build up ourselves. We got to build this. We got to build. We ought to be about building. We got HBCU. We got this. We got this. We got to build. Got to build. That's the lie you tell me and everybody around you, right? Okay. You can't. These two things cannot be true, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot say we got to build. We ought to build. We should be building. And then when Deion Sanders leaves Jackson State, you say I would have left too for the money. Now I'm not saying that he left for the money. I don't know why he left. I don't know what happened. But what I'm saying is, I only know what I heard. But even if he left for the money, that's what y'all said. Well, I would have left too. It's a bag over there. You can't say I want community and I would leave for the bag. Because sometimes building community means sacrificing. That's just what it means. So if you want community, you can't chase the bag because the white man got the bag. So you will always be over there chasing his money at the expense of your community. And how much money is enough? I would think that somebody who was a retired superstar NFL player and who was a commentator after that and a reality show star after that has enough money to say, you know what? I don't need to be in the limelight no more. But he wants to get his kids to the NFL, and that's how he decides he wants to do it. He wants to create this David and Goliath story. Moses, I'm the champion of the black race, and I use that to catapult myself. I'm the champion of these ADOS people, and I use that to catapult myself to the next step. Okay, that's what it is. But y'all got to stop agreeing with all this stuff and saying, I would have done it too. Yeah, you would have done it too. You ain't never seen no real money. He has. He has. He want to coach his kids, that's fine. But you got to stop seeing yourself in him. That's his life. That's a very elite life. He's worked hard for it, but he was also very talented. And there's also some psychological stuff because Deion has said himself his parents were never at his games. So I think he's trying to be a very good parent to his children because of what he didn't have. I think his mother was working. I don't know where his father was. So he didn't have anybody rooting for him. And I think maybe on some level he's rooting for his kids and doing what he can for his kids because he didn't have that. That's wonderful. It doesn't make him a hero in your life. If there's anything you could do, you could stand up and fight for your kids the way he's fighting for his. But yours requires more politics as opposed to showing up to games. Your kid being successful, hey, what did you run? I can tell you what Deion ran out of college. I can tell you what he sprinted. What did you sprint? Okay, you're not going to be him. You never was him. So your fighting for your Shadur and Shiloh is politics. That's your fight. His fight is over there. Why are you viewing his fight as your fight? That's not the same thing. Everybody has to understand this. This is not complicated. And whoever wrote this is half crazy. This back to the CNN article. He refuses to code switch. That's not true. I saw Deion code switch real smooth. He went from the Scully and the full beard to clean shaven with the cowboy hat. I don't know what you're talking about. He refuses to code switch. You crazy. It's not like Black America has had much to cheer for in recent years. Former President Obama has long departed the national spotlight. The so-called George Floyd racial reckoning in 2020 now seems as remote as a disco era. This is not written well. A conservative majority on the U.S. Supreme Court recently eviscerated affirmative action in higher education. Black boys and history are being banned from class. What? Black books. I thought they said black boys. I was like, our children can't go to school now. The boys can go to school. And history are being banned from classrooms. And white supremacists continue to gun down black people in public. Enter Coach Prime. Nothing him being there fixes none of this. Like, how you say enter Coach Prime? How? What are we talking about? Who? When? Where? Sanders represent one of those rare moments of contemporary racial progress. See, this is the thing. One person makes progress. We got to stop doing this. Let me just say this. We got to stop doing this stuff with the first all the time. Every time somebody's the first something or the first whatever. No, he's not a typical first either. He was a megastar, superstar athlete when he got there. And he was able to leverage that stardom into viewership and into attention. He is a very charismatic and charming man. And he's also, gosh, one of the best to ever do it. He's probably, he's definitely top 3. Right? So it's just like, what are y'all talking about? How do people view Deion Sanders as the everyman? He ain't the everyman. So what he brings to a team, and you got to understand in his uniqueness, his position, he's not only does he bring what he has sons that play and one son who's quarterback and doesn't what's the white man's name who's the best quarterback ever? What's it? Tom Brady. Isn't Tom Brady like one of his mentors or something? Like, how do you see progress through a man who's occupying that kind of rare air? That is not progress for you. Like, you would have to be walking along that same path as somebody who is elite in football to say, I see a door opening up for me when I retire. That's not your door. Or I see a door opening up for me to coach my kids. That's not your door to walk through. That's part of the problem. We don't see which door is which door. Somebody making some progress. Oh, that must be my door. I see my door opening up. Right? My door opening up right now. He's a hero to me. He doing stuff for all of us. So let me get back to this article. I ain't gonna be here long tonight, fam. I just had to say a little something. While many college football players are black, most of the teams are coached by white men. And many of the best teams are in red states like Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana. It's not unusual to see black and brown players competing on stadium turf surrounded by cheering white spectators. And it's not just college. The entire culture of elite football is run by white men. The NFL is largely dominated by white men. No Sherlock. Politically conservative team owners. It's no secret the league has had a poor record of hiring black coaches. Yeah, you real keen on the obvious. But Sanders doesn't seem to care what white people think. You crazy if you think that. Behind the scenes, that man is the best charmer you have ever seen. He will charm your shoes off. You crazy if you think that he don't care. He's blunt and joyful and refuses to code switch or change his demeanor and behavior to make white people comfortable. He'll bring up racism at a press conference while others might prefer he just shut up and talk football. He brings it up because it's very good for viewership. I don't think people realize that, like, he brings it up because that's going to make headlines the next day. That's the thing. And it did make headlines the next day. For many black people, this unapologetic blackness is, we've gone through that, exhilarating. We've gone through that. Sanders jokes about ranking his children based on their performance. Similar, yeah, he's a funny guy. Similar to sports power rankings, some of the best clips from his interview show his warm interaction with his sons. Great dad, yeah, who radiates love and respect for their father. This is a powerful impact for black Americans. See, that's the thing. I think it's good. I think it's nice. I don't think we understand what powerful means, though. Like, that's what I think. And I think, listen, this happens all the time. And it takes all the air out of the room. I just mentioned Kyrie. There was a whole argument when Kanye did the thing and he said what he said. And then we had to deal with being accused of anti-Semitism because this celebrity said that stuff. With Kyrie, we got to deal with the same stuff because he said the stuff. It's always a celebrity story that's taking all the air out the room. We don't need this much celebrity news. Celebrity news, sports news should take at max 15% of what we talk about. At max. So it's not that you can't enjoy it. It's not that you can't say that Deion's a good dad. It's not that you can't say he's funny. It's not that you can't say he's not charming. It's not that you can't say this is good for his son. Say all of that. But why is it taking up more than 15%? We got all kind of we got all kind of government shutdowns. We got all kind of everything going on. Right? We got all kind of, we still, we push reparations. We over here, we just launched the org. You go look and it's all kind of news going on right now that disproportionately impacts us in terms of your kid, your grandkid, your cousin, your nephew, your auntie, all of that. And this is so much of this celebrity news. And it just goes on news cycle to news cycle. And news cycle. I remember there was a whole thing. Well, I think Kanye should. I remember Voice Walkers, all this stuff. And nobody ever measures. He came out. I've been on the phone with Kanye. We finna start a brand. We finna get there. You ain't did nothing yet. All this stuff people talked about and people went outside and wasted time on. I'm just saying. You can root for who you want to. You can absolutely. I don't know why anybody's rooting for Kanye. But you can absolutely root for Deion. You can root for his son. Let's say you want to see another ADOS quarterback in the league. And it's a nice father-son story. That's great. But we as a community, we weigh this stuff too heavy. We make celebrities into heroes as if they have risked life and limb for us. Kyrie never risked nothing for us. Kanye didn't risk nothing for us. Deion didn't risk anything for us. They are doing business. They are taking care of themselves. They are taking care of their families. And I don't begrudge them that. He should take care of his family. We have too many men who, and when you talk about celebrities in sports who have a bunch of different baby mamas and the kids and the child support and they're always in court, I salute him for being that. That is wonderful. But what I'm telling you, he is a hero in his kid's life, and he should be. Because they could have had a very different life. They could have had a father who didn't spend time with them, who was always running around. That's great. But I'm telling you, the more important thing is, how are you going to be a hero in your child's life? That's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. And to the extent he inspires you to be a better father, great. Absolutely great. To the extent he inspires you to spend more time with your kids, absolutely great. To the extent that he inspires you to figure out what you got to do to make them successful, like he's trying to make his kids successful, absolutely great. But what you're not going to do is try to pretend like he's a hero for the community. That's what you're not going to do. You can always find life lessons in these kind of good stories with people who decide to be good parents. There are a lot of good lessons in that. But what y'all ain't going to come over here and tell me, yeah, y'all did the stuff with Meghan Markle too, was getting up all early, talking about, oh, sis. It's always like these celebrity stories, fam. And this is my point, and I'm gonna let it go after this. These celebrity stories, like I said, I'm not gonna take all day, and I'll set up the phone just in case anybody want to call. But these celebrity stories, they take all the air out of the room, and I really feel like there are people who are living vicariously through Deion. So instead of like living their own life and deciding what their life needs and what their contribution to their community should be, it becomes all about Deion. It becomes all about, that's the whole talk. You talk more about, some of y'all talk more to your friends about Deion and what Deion is doing than you talk about what your own kid is doing. You talk about Deion for 20 minutes, then somebody say, well, how's your boy? He in our jail. He, I don't know. It's just like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing there? Right? Like how much was to talk about Meghan Markle and all that? Like, oh sis, and I saw Oprah, Serena was there, whatever. Now they said they about to break up. just just attention for no reason. Like attention, there's nothing more important in your life than your attention and where you place your attention. And we are placing our attention just seems to rotate from celebrity story to celebrity story to celebrity story. And it just can't go on that way. Not in us try to do something that is beneficial for the community. It just won't work that way. It's not going to work that way, right? So, well, them ducks did something to them. I tell you that. Them ducks came out and quacked and let me stop. My petty be doing stuff. I sometimes just petty for no reason. That wasn't right. That them ducks came out there. I'm just saying. They just did what it is. Anyway, fam, give me a couple minutes to set up the phones. I will be back, and we can have the conversation. All right, fam, we are back. We are back. We are back. I am going to go to my first caller. I'm going to 469. 469, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. This is Keelan Johnson. I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Hey, fam, what's going on?
I want to call because, yes, ma'am?
I said, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. But I was watching your show, and you, listen, when we talked about the black celebrity stuff, I have been saying for so long now, like when I realized that more black people in my generation, I'm Gen Z, by the way, know more about the watch that Shador
Okay.
They know about Rolex and Patek Philippe's more than they know about Fanning Lou Hamer or A. Philip Randolph.
Mm.
I started issues because I'm like, we have become so infatuated with like luxuries. Like I remember there was a time they were really saying that, oh yeah, black luxury is liberation. I'm like, no, it is not. Like it's like we have lost all of our political consciousness for, oh, we have to be wealthy and mimic celebrities we see. It's so bad. Cause like,
Fam, hold on one second. Can you speak? Can you hold on one second? Can you speak into the phone a little bit? You coming in a little bit low.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you better now.
Okay, so like, yeah, I was
Oh,
saying
you
that
okay?
we have become so infatuated with celebrity and celebrity culture that we don't even care about our people, like everyday working black people. Like we'll ignore them, but we can tell you everything about what we see in celebrities. Like it's so strange. Like you said, people don't go to city council meetings. People don't even give to organizers in the city. Like they'll give money to a celebrity if they have like a charity or something, but with no organizers in the city. Like today, somebody put out a story of an NBA player who said they want to give kids in DC some shoes. They have to like get money themselves. So for one, the celebrities don't care about us. Like they ignore us. They don't provide any resources like to anything we do, and we still go to bat for them. Like when I saw those black Israelite men walking in the street for Kyrie, and like there's literally like people in New York City that's ADOS, and they're being put in they're being put in homelessness because they can't afford the city and the city's ousting them, and they're not marching for that. Like it's strange to me how we're so distracted by celebrity culture now. Like it's so bad.
Yeah, I agree, fam. I agree. I mean, like I said, it's the degree to which I appreciate your call, fam. I'm trying to get to some other calls, but I absolutely appreciate you. You have a good one. And listen, it's like, and I'm not like I said, I'm not saying celebrity doesn't have its place or whatever, but it really is like with us, it's just an infatuation, and it's a problem. I'm going to my next call. I am going to 862. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what is on your mind?
Good evening, Yvette. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's Jonathan Edwards from Asheboro, North Carolina.
What's going on, fam?
To piggyback on your last statement, celebrity does have its place. If you go back and you look at Dr. King on his March of Washington, right? Who paid for the sound system?
I know who paid for it.
Tell everybody who paid for it.
I thought Cosby paid for it.
Right. Cosby and a couple of other celebrities got together and paid for that sound system. Cosby, Harry Belafonte, a couple other people paid for that. Their job was not to be out front. Their job was to fund the movement. Take the resources that they had gathered and utilize it for the betterment of the group. So this stuff with Deion and all of this is just an ongoing, continuing mess with this, with this decadent veil of celebrity. And everybody's like, well, he's doing this for his kids. Okay, so you're feeding your kids into the machine that chews up black bodies. Now, if he was really doing something for his kids, he would be teaching his kids how to be the next level of coaches and not players. But we don't think that far ahead. It's the immediacy of the stardom that comes with being a player. So now you're telling your kids, don't follow my footsteps after football. Follow my steps. As if you were still coming out of poverty like I was. What's the whole point of a father that's rich if you just turn around and turn your kids back into slaves? It's counterproductive. But everybody thinks that this is the big play. This is the move. Oh, yeah, they're going ready to go to the league. So what happened? What's going to happen to them when they get to the league? We know what's going to happen to them when they get to the league. Concussion after concussion after concussion. Did we not see the movie?
Well, I think he feels that his son's gonna be like Tom Brady, gonna be a quarterback, the best ever. And I think and I'm not disagreeing with you. I think certain people really have a love for football.
Right, but to what end?
I agree.
Everything has a, everything. Listen, I like auto racing, but to what end? Am I going to go out and feed my children into a meat grinder? And meanwhile, while telling everyone else that they should cheer for me doing that? Forget about the resources that I could have brought into a black community. Okay, so you don't have that type of political a foothold on what you should have done as a black man. You know, it's not like you're starving for money. It's not like you're not married to Tracy Edmonds. It's not like you're already a superstar. You're already a millionaire 10 times over. That's not important. The fact that you're already good. Your kids are already going to go to college, whether they play football or not.
Well, and they're going to be rich no matter what. So really and truthfully, let me
They're
just
going to be rich no matter
and let me just follow up on something you said. Because they're going to be rich no matter what. Like as careers are passed down, but they don't at that level they don't have to be, right? Like, and you could have your kid do something in sports that is not playing the game, right? You could have them, even if you wanted to be them a sports agent or a sports attorney, there could be a lot of things in sports. But I guess for him, maybe there's an insecurity that I don't know how to pass that down, which is another kind of problem, isn't it?
No, it's an extension of his ego. It's an extension. It's me playing again. It's baby prime 2.0.
Ooh.
It's just me. It's just I want to continue my legacy as the great one. So I'm going to create another mini great one, and another mini great one. And they're going to be the great ones that came from me. It's an ego project. I get to say, look at my sons, look at my boys. I have a grandson now that's 12 years old, 13 years old, getting ready to get his black belt. I have my black belt, but that's not an extension of me. He wanted to go and learn how to get his black belt. I didn't push him. He went. He's done the work. He's going to get his black belt this year. Okay, fine. But I'm not out here advertising it. I'm not pushing it because it's not about me. But it's about him. You know, it's everyone went on the defense. Oh, well, why is it that everybody's mad because he left a black school? It's because of the way he represented himself when he was at that black school. He created this imagery like he was going to be the Moses that's going to shepherd all of the black players back to the HBCUs, and then all of the white money was going to have to come to us to get the talent. But as soon as the white folks flash the check at him, oh, that's not important no more. Let me go get the check.
And you know what was even worse? You know what was bad?
Let the game finish before you walked out.
No, but you know what was bad too? Like how he blamed it on God. He said, well, when everybody said, well, you said this and you came and you said you was gonna do this for your people and this was about us and we're gonna show that the HBCUs can compete with PWIs. He said, well, God works in mysterious ways. That's basically what he said.
Right. God want me to go over here with these white people.
Yes.
all roads lead back to white money.
Ooh.
But he told you who he was when he wrote his song. It must be the money.
Always told us. Yeah, he's always been the same person.
So why did you think it was going to be something different?
Ooh.
I watched an interview with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, that guy asked him, Mike Tyson, what would you do if your son wanted to fight? He said, I wouldn't let my son fight. He said, I did the fighting so my son don't have to fight no more. My sons are rich. So they go to colleges and they travel Europe and they go around the world and they don't have to live in that world of violence that I lived in to provide that wealth to them. That's what you're supposed to do. You're going to take your kids now and put them right back into the machine that chewed your toe off? Yeah, you're around here with 9 toes.
Bam. Yeah, he might lose part of that leg too.
He might lose part of his leg because of football. You can see the evidence of it. I mean, Junior Seau committed suicide. Herschel Walker's running around here babbling like he can't. football that we don't already know. The evidence is there. But we're making this man out to be the greatest hero since Superman because he got his sons playing football. To what end? So that they can make some money? They already got the money. The kid got a Rolls Royce and a $70,000 watch. Do they need the money in the NFL?
And who needs our support more? Deion Sanders' kids or your kids? Our kids in the community. Who needs the support?
All of this energy is being spent on Deion Sanders, but the UAW is on strike. Whole lot of ADOS folks out there walking picket lines trying to get a job raised to $20 an hour. But we're talking about secure $70,000 watch. What we doing? Dr. King took us on a strike against the buses. Now we got a strike now against the auto unions, and nobody knows. They're trying to lay off. They're trying to cancel. I think Chrysler's trying to get rid of 18 facilities nationwide. They're going to get rid of them.
Absolutely.
That's thousands of ADOS people that's going to be out of work. And we're talking about Deion Sanders and his son's $70,000 watch.
And his chain, the watch. Yeah, it's two of them. It's the chain and the watch.
Oh, the chain, the Rolls watch. Oh my God, the cowboy hats, all the goofiness.
Yeah, all the performing, all the peacocking. And that's what I realized. Like, our people just love to peacock. Like, all the peacocking, all the little swag stuff. If you can swag a little bit, my goodness, you can get into the hearts of every Negro. And that's what it feels like. But go on, fam, I'm going to let you finish because I'm going to let you go because you've been going today.
And everybody's talking about, well, he's unapologetic. Yeah, he's real unapologetic in that big-ass cowboy hat.
Did you see him go to the...
I didn't see Deion Sanders in a cowboy hat until they mentioned he was going to Colorado. Before that, it was Jerry curls and gold chains. But no, he's not code switching. He's definitely code switching. He's kissing the money. The first thing he did was when he got to town, he had to go see their super fan, some 70, 80-year-old, 90-year-old white woman.
That's what I was talking about. He knocked on the lady's door. That's what I was talking about. The super fan, the lady knocked at the little old lady door. He knocked on the little white lady door, hugged her, and she called him handsome. Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. Thank you, fam. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Well, what Deion know about this little old white lady? He ain't never heard of this lady before, but they told him, listen, if you're going to come to Colorado, you better go see Miss Emma.
He smiled real hard, too.
And
hey.
He smiled real big and showed up. Hey, Miss Emma, how you doing?
I thought he didn't code switch, though.
That ain't code switching. That's coning and buffooning. That's what that is. That's what we used to call it. So I'm not going to give him no political correct statement like code switching. No, he went over there shucking and jiving. And he took a camera crew with him to make sure they recorded it so all of the other white folks saw him go over there and kiss Miss Emma's right behind. So that he could get a pass at the local Piggly Wiggly when he go grocery shopping. Because you in the town is all white, school is all white, staff is all white. You brought all these players you stole from Jackson because they came to Jackson because of you. All of this staff that came there because of you. You took all that and you took it with you. And then all of a sudden, now Colorado got a winning team. No kidding. You brought Jackson's team and staff over there. Of course they're going to be winning.
And we rooting for it. But here's the thing. We rooting for it like he's still at Jackson. We're rooting like he's still at Jackson.
Like he's still at Jackson. Like Jackson will get some of that TV press and Shannon Sharp get flown that private jet into Jackson State field, and some of that money was going to trickle that way because they were getting all this TV. How many times has Jackson been on TV since he's left?
Negroes don't care as long as Deion's on TV. That's what I realized. They don't care as long as Deion is on TV.
So let me get this straight. You built this thing, right? You built it. You was there 3 years. Coaches are supposed to build dynasty. They're supposed to build systems, right? Like if you go back and look at basketball with Dean Smith in North Carolina, they built a system. You go back and you look at Bobby Knight. You go philosophy. Packed it up, put it in a suitcase, put a sticker on the side, and said, we'll work for food. I have nothing else to say.
Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you, fam. You can end on that. Thank you, fam. Ooh, that was heavy. That was heavy. I'm finna go. We'll work for food. My goodness. Going to my next call. I am going now to 678. 678. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, this is Mike from College Park. What's going on?
Nothing, Mike. Speak a little bit closer into the phone. I don't know. It's not coming in loud for some people.
Can you hear me now?
Hear you better. Yep.
Yeah. So the last guy, I don't know why I got to follow him because he lit the fire. So I got to come back and throw some gasoline, right? I want to approach this angle from the HBCU side. Me being an HBCU graduate, my wife being an HBCU graduate, half my family, right? Let's look at how, like, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about, oh man, you did so much for HBCU. That man was there for 3 years. But let me tell you what HBCUs did for him. When he was in Texas with that failed school he had and nobody was giving him a chance, the only way he was going to coach was somebody had to give him a chance. And he had 2 interviews, one with Arizona Razorbacks and one with Florida State. And both of them said, no, you don't have the experiences, nor do you have a college degree. Somebody at Jackson put him in touch with somebody at Talladega State, an HBCU, to fast track him a degree so he can coach at Jackson State. He started at Jackson State in September, not in August. In September, the season had already started. That's because he didn't have a degree. So they was looking out for him already. When you get to Jackson State, his first year he had to perform, so his second year he can get a better contract. He had a 5-year contract. They told him they would give him 10% of the profit from the seats in the stands at Jackson State, which they already had record attendance before he got there. So he stays at Jackson State, and everybody said, oh, you put Jackson State on the map. Well, people knew about Jackson State, but maybe not the broader audience. But he was there for 3 years, and when he left, the way he left was so disrespectful that people were making excuses of why they were taking money from him. I said, do y'all understand this is a state university, that anything that happens between Title IX and all that, they have to show records of what happens with this money. They can't just take people's money. And the profits from the games cannot go to just the athletic department. It has to go through the whole school. That's how schools make money. So when he left, not only did he take, like the caller before me said, not only did he take the top people at Jackson State, he took some students with him, some student trainers with him. He took a guy that used to do all of the videotaping for Jackson State. He has a whole page just for Jackson State. He took him with him. He took the cheerleading coach. He took her with him. This man went to Colorado telling the Colorado people, y'all need to start performing like Jackson State. So I'm going to have y'all in contact with the people at Jackson State Band and Sonic Boom because I need y'all to play like Jackson State. This man was trying to take the whole culture of Jackson State to Colorado, one of the whitest schools in America. Now, y'all had talked about, I think it was you, Yvette, it was either you or Tom had talked about the racial problems they were having at Colorado. All that got swept under the rug when he got there. So we can use, for one word we can say is propaganda. You think about the propaganda that was spread when he got there, all that got swept under. We got a nigga, we got Deion Sanders, Coach Prime here. So now we're going to get all these black kids to come up here. They lost one game, one game last year. They don't won 3 games, and people act like he didn't won the championship for the doggone Pac-12. We need to stop.
Well, you know what else? You know what else they said that was weird, fam? And you may know something about this. Somebody told me that, like, Deion Sanders, they said this never happened for coaches. They said coaches never get this. He got part of the door. Like, what people...
Yeah,
what is that?
Listen. There's so much stuff tied up when it comes to NCAA, Title IX, and all that stuff, that they worked out a special deal just for him to stay there at Jackson State because they couldn't. Here's the thing. All the money he was bringing in with his celebrity, they were trying to offset with saying, okay, we'll find a way to pay him more money. So people always say,
Well, he took money out of his pocket. He got this done. He got that done. Y'all giving him too much credit. All you got to do is go look at the history. 2019 and 2020, they had talked about building a whole nother complex at Jackson State. Before he got there, he just put his brand on top of that. So people gave him the credit. Y'all got to think about it. This man ain't had no money come and build nothing at no school. It costs millions of dollars. Why would you give him millions of dollars? He just got there.
Well, you know what they said? They said, you know,
highest paid coach in HBCU history.
But you know what they said? Let me tell you what they said. They said he was the one, like when Walmart did something, they said he got on the phone with Walmart to build a field or something like that. My other.
All right, so they.
Go ahead, fam. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they were already in the process of building a facility, right? They had a muddy field. He got them to come and put some grass on that muddy field. So the field was there. They just couldn't practice on it. So he got them. I guess he talked to them on the phone to get them to come out and put it. It wasn't just that. They gave Jackson State a $2.4 million. They invested $2.4 million. So it wasn't just for the football. It was for other stuff also. That practice field just came with it. So I'll give him that. But the thing is, you're giving him way too much credit. Because I'm gonna tell you this, a man, if you were really about what you said you was about, not only would you have stayed at Jackson State, because you said it wasn't about the money, you said it was about God. How can you build something like the previous caller said in 3 years? What do you build in 3 years? You can't even build a good business in 3 years.
No.
You left on you just talked about private jets. This people left on a private jet twice. He left Jackson State on private jet twice. He didn't even give them kids the proper, like he just left after the game. He told them the day before, they were, or the week or something before they were playing the championship game that he was leaving. Just 2 or 3 weeks prior, he told them he wasn't going nowhere. So y'all, everybody can say, "Oh, he's a good man." No, I'm not giving him no credit for that. I don't have no respect for that man. Not after what he did at Jackson State. And he doing all this talk about God, but what was godly that you did? You literally, not only did you leave your people, the ones you said you was gonna lead like Moses, you took people with you to the right side.
Ooh. And
you walking through their university like, "Oh man, look, they got this and they got this and they got this." I said, "Y'all, look at this man, man." I was kind of when he went to Jackson State, I was cool. I was like, you know what? I'm a Grambling graduate. We play Jackson State all the time. That's kind of like one of our rivals. I was happy they was getting attention, but I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop because I'm also from Atlanta, and I remember when he was playing for Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta Braves, and we call him Deion, prime time. I used to see him out here in the streets. I just knew what kind of person he was. He was always about him. So it surprised me when he went there. But when I started looking at all the details, I think he was always going to leave. It was just a matter of who gave him the chance to leave. Because Jackson State was never his first place. He was trying to go back to his so-called alma mater. But now, since they rejected him, all of a sudden he's not a Seminole no more. They asked him in an interview, "Oh, you're a Seminole?" "No, I ain't no Seminole." So it's funny how HBCUs built you up, but you took from the HBCUs, and everybody now was pissing me off. I'm not even a student or alum from Jackson State, and I've been defending them more than anybody else. You're not going to tear down a over 100-year-old university for some football coach. At the end of the day, when he's gone, that university will still be here. That school started without football. It needs football now because it's underfunded. All these HBCUs are underfunded. And y'all talking about a coach at Colorado. All that money they're getting in Colorado is not coming back to your community. If you got to look to Deion Sanders about being a good father, something is wrong because we got enough of them in our neighborhood. We do. We do. Enough programs around here where you got people who coaching these kids that you can go look up to. So I don't want nobody to tell me nothing about if you going for Colorado, that means you're going against Jackson State and all the HBCUs. I hope they lose every game too. I'm for real.
Well, you know, Dr. Cosby got in trouble for saying that. Yeah.
Huh?
I say I won't tell you what I did after Saturday's game. I ain't gonna even tell
you. You probably went to celebrate. Go ahead and drink up.
No. I made a purchase. I was just that happy. Only because I just listen. And let me just say this real quick, fam. Because I knew what my week was going to look like if he won. Like when they win, like that just becomes the conversation through the week, and then you have all these think pieces. In a certain way, you need something to kind of put water on that so that you can have breathing room to kind of have a conversation about other things.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to say this. There's a saying that hubris comes before the great fall. He speaks a lot. Everybody said we could back it up. Listen, man. When he's going through it, Colorado, I don't want him complaining about nothing about racism. Bro, you signed up for that. You deal with it. They ain't got nothing to do with us. Because nothing coming back over here. We got schools that you could have gave attention to. Alabama A&M just got $500,000 from the state. Tennessee State just got $500,000 from the state. You know how many land-grant colleges and HBCUs need money from their state? They've been underfunded for years. And y'all throwing them away for one coach who ain't going to never coach your kids who don't know you alive? I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm tired of hearing about them. I'm tired of people, dissing the HBCUs about them or dissing black folks who disagree with them. Y'all can have them. We don't need them. We don't need them. You know, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna say this. Right now, I watch my HBCU. They got HBCU Go. I know it's a griot or whatever it is, but I watch my games on Saturdays if I can. If we gonna support somebody, why we can't support our own?
Well, that's what
I'm
we
not
all.
saying you can't watch Georgia. I'm not saying you can't watch none of those. But God, come on, y'all.
But that's always. But isn't that the disconnect? What we say and what we do. Like what we say is that we need our own. We want our own. Okay, but the interesting thing about HBCUs is it's actually an example of something that exists right now. Like you don't have to go and build it.
Exactly.
We actually have those schools right now. So you're proving to me, people are proving to me that you actually don't want to support your own. That's not what you want to do.
Exactly.
You want to go and support aspirationalism. You like Deion because I don't even think if he was just a normal black coach and he was just regularly kind of he was just very ordinary. I don't think he would get support. He gets the support because of who he is, the flash, and he's a star. And we're showing that like we really don't show up for each other. We show up for celebrities, and we live vicariously through them because we aspire to be them on some level.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say this ain't got nothing to do with what we just talked about, but I sent you something in your email. I had a forum in my neighborhood with my organization, and we had all of our political candidates come in.
Oh, good.
And talking to we had all stand in the room. Always about 100 people in there. I was proud of it. I hosted it. I sent it to your email. I'm like, under none too much. That's my email. I mean, that's my thing.
Okay.
But if you get a chance, about an hour and a half. It's kind of grainy, but you can hear everything.
Okay.
But what we did, we just had questions from the crowd. They asked us. We asked them. That's what I'm about. Look, politically, if we're doing something, this is what we need to be talking about. We got we got a season coming up, coming up here locally, but we got it on the national level coming up. So that's what we need to be more focused on. Yes, we can talk about this stuff, but we talked about it ad nauseum. We haven't talked about anything that's actually changing our lives.
Nope.
I'm actually out here trying to get people come in and these are the people that are really changing our lives, and these are people I'm becoming friends with. These are people I'm associating with, and that's where I'm at.
Kudos to you, fam. I appreciate it, and I'll definitely check it out. Thank you, fam. That's what we're supposed to be doing. You're a great example, so I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate
you, fam. You have a good night.
All right.
That was a great call. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I really don't. We get in this cycle. There's always a new celebrity that we fight for, and once that's over with, there's a new celebrity we fighting for, and we arguing for, and we making sure that white people don't treat them bad. But we're not showing up for ourselves. So I'm going to my next call. I am going now to 910. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I get to talk to you. I'm always doing good.
Oh, appreciate you.
Anyway, before I get to Deion, tell me something, Yvette. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, Yvette. What in the world is going on with irony?
I have no idea. I don't answer for anybody except Yvette D. Carnell.
I feel you, but man, it seems like it's like listening to talk radio right now with irony, man. What's going on?
Maybe if he has a call-in show, maybe you can call and ask him or comment under the DM him. I have no idea.
Saying so. Anyway, back to Deion. Yeah, I think my uncle had a saying. He said, my Uncle John, he said that black people have a one Negro complex. Now, I'll admit right now, my uncle is more colorful than that. So he says one nigga complex, but I'm trying to clean it up, if you will. But anyway, Deion is definitely out for Deion. It's so sad to see. You know, I can understand if like prisoners or high school dropouts were getting behind this, but you got PhDs trying to explain Deion as some type of phenomenon in NCAA football. I'm like, Deion Sanders is not changing NCAA football. Deion Sanders is maintaining and fulfilling the mission of NCAA football, is to keep it white, keep the money going in one direction, and to make all that he can for himself. And that's about it. I'm so sad to see people so easily distracted. And it just shows we got a whole lot more work to do. I thought we had made some serious inroads, but it looks like we got more work to do than we thought. And in addition to that, I think, piggyback on the last caller, I think that when we do all the accounting about who did who for what, Jackson State did way more for Deion Sanders than Deion Sanders did for Jackson State. And I'll leave it at that.
Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you. You have a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's, I'm going to different calls. I'm trying to see who, somebody may disagree, whatever. I'm just, great calls though. We got some good calls coming in here today. I mean, my goodness. And people have a whole bunch of backstory that I didn't even have. I didn't have that backstory with the other caller talking about what happened, how it happened, child. I didn't have that backstory. This is some crazy stuff, child. Anyway, I am going now to 773. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Dad, how are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. John from Chicago.
What's up, John?
Not much, Yvette. God, man, these celebrities, they suck so much air out of the room. No one is paying attention to the information that is being put out by you guys, the rise of legacy. Things are happening. People are homeless. Everything is going on. And we just caught up with this celebrity. Because for some reason, everyone seems to think that I could be the next Deion, or I could be the next Shador, or whatever celebrity. I was born just a little bit before Michael Jordan, but I was 6'1" and heavy. So I knew that I couldn't jump out the gym, so I just enjoyed watching a little bit of basketball.
Well, let me pause you right there, fam. Pause right there. Because I think you may be about to say something that I had a whole argument, and then I want you to chime in on this too when you tell your story. I had a whole argument with somebody in the chat. I said, we don't understand limitations. And they was like, what you mean? I said, if you have a son who's 5'9", I said, you got to put him on a different path. Then you're going to be, that becomes now exercise, right? It doesn't become like a path to the NBA. And that person tried to tell me, well, Yvette, you can't kill nobody's dreams. And I said, that's the point. I said, that's the problem. It ain't killing nobody's dream. It's putting them in the path to a new dream. I said, you got to tell that Smurf to get over there and be quiet and do something different than what he's doing. You can't he's 5'9", 5'10". That's not, and they said, you can't kill his dream. And I said, that's the problem. That's part of being an adult and being a parent. Listen, this is a great path. If you enjoy it, I want you to have joy in your life. But this is not, you are not going to compete with them, with the mutants. That's not going to happen. But go on, fam. Is that what I could know you was finna say something about you didn't have the height.
Exactly. And that is exactly what I'm speaking of. We don't have enough heart to tell a child to, hey, you have to look for something else to do. No one saying that you can't participate. No one saying that you can't be a part of the sport. And, hey, God bless you if you just happen to ease through. But the chances of it happening are like slim to none. And Slim probably just walked out of the door. because we spend too much time trying to protect people's feelings as opposed to just telling them the truth. And so you, Tone, you guys are putting out truth serum, and you have people having millionaire morning shows to a wealthless group. You have the Earn Your Leisures to a wealthless group. You have all of these different programs that people are watching, not understanding that the aspiration does not match your pocketbook. It just doesn't. And so, as opposed, we've been fed so hard a lie, this rugged individualism. Get it out the mud. I got mine. You gotta get yours. But something that you always say, that is, either we rise together or we fall together.
Yep.
And I don't know. People aren't. I guess people have not heard of what was the book? The 20% are still in the dream hoarders.
Yeah, dream hoarders. Yep.
Dream hoarders. You know, they're not paying attention. You don't have any inheritance or anything like that coming. I think you misunderstand a good job with wealth. Okay, you have a good job, but everything that's going on says to you that
income.
you live in check to Monday.
Yeah, income and wealth. People confuse
Not
that.
check.
Yeah.
No. Check to Monday, though, Yvette. Not check to check. People can't make it a week. It's check to Monday. Monday, you looking for, a way to possibly get to next week. You probably have to borrow some money just to make it through, no matter what the job is. And I just don't think that we have a good relationship with reality, the reality of our condition. Nobody wants to, so we focus on hype. We focus on something that will never ever be your life, and then the amount of money that even the celebrities have is not even worth measuring on the metric. It's just not, and then they're not even smart enough to not be W-2 employees. These people are employees. They paying 50% of the money in taxes. They paying 15% to an agent. We hear these big numbers, and they don't have the money that they say that they have. In particular, the rap people, the record labels are
rappers, actors, whatever.
them.
The athletes probably have more than anybody. I mean, they still pay half of their stuff, like you say. I would never be at that level. Like Antonio talked about that a lot in those W-2s. I don't even understand how that's possible. But and they probably have more than most. But in terms, it's insanity, and it's insanity that we can't see it for what it is. And I'll let you have the last word, fam.
Yes, well, I just want to say thank you so very much for all that you do. I finally got my Patreon, so I'm tuned in more. I'm 60 years old, so please forgive me, but I finally figured it out, and I got it done. I sent my email to sign up for ABOS AF, and for whatever reason, I haven't been able to get in on the Zooms, but I'm going
not
to
the Zooms,
figure
but
it
if
out
you comment, it's a good community of folks over there. If you comment, they'll tell you how to do it. Like if you say I can't get in, the people underneath it's all about community. They'll come in, do this, do that. so we'll get you in there.
Right.
We'll figure out how to get
because
you in there.
This is our life, and this is important. Because I'm worried. I'm looking at what's coming behind us, and every single thing, everything is showing that we off the cliff. We're in a free fall.
I agree.
And in America that is not thinking about you.
I agree, fam. I appreciate you.
You're
I appreciate
invisible.
you. I appreciate you.
You
Absolutely right.
too, Yvette.
I appreciate you. Absolutely right. You have a good one. Free fall. And I mean, we'll be, child. How long did they? How long? Even when we're not like we spend so much time defending celebrities. Even when we're not defending, we just talking about them. So how long did they talk about Usher and the Keke Palmer? I mean, child, it's just so much foolishness. It's just child stuff. And yeah, the earn your leisure stuff. They said they had 20,000 people there, and nobody had sense enough to say having 20,000 people at an investment fest was stupid. Like if you had 20,000 people, that means that was greedy and it's a failure. Because the whole point of something where you learn how to invest or you learn about wealth is that you're supposed to cut it off at a certain point because you want to be able to have interactions with people, not just have a thing where people talk on stage. It's supposed to be an investment kind of festival, but nobody knows how to measure anything. So who am I? Let y'all to go and spend your PPP money over there with classes and stuff. Like, so 336, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on?
William Dickens calling out of Winston-Salem. The brother started touching on what I was going to touch on. I want to put some data in this conversation. Because we make our kids chase these sports because that's the only avenue they give us as a way out. But nobody never sits their child down and give them the data and the odds they really up against. And you touched on it too when you said, and when you touched on it, you said, listen, when you look at the data, the average height of an American man is 5'9". That's the average height of an American man. Average height of an NBA player is 6'7". 6'7". The brother that just called said I was 6 foot big. Yeah, and walking around, that's a big man walking around 6 foot. But in the NBA, he's a little man. These things are devastating. Then I looked up, what I ended up looking up, I said, I want to know how many people go after these pro football, pro basketball dreams. How many really get through? So if you look up, in 2023, 1,083,308 high school football players went out to be a pro football player. Yvette, how many of them you think got a pro slot?
I don't know. How many would tell me?
Only 251. So you ride around your community, you seeing little boys running around playing football in the field, practicing football. I do it all the time riding my bike. They got 2 fields. They got them little boys on 2 fields. Chasing a failed attempt already. And if I say it, I'm being negative, even though the data is supporting what I'm saying. But I am seen as being negative.
Well, in our community, William, being realistic is being negative. In our community, being realistic is negative. You got to tell people they can be whatever they want to be. Like, they don't matter. Like, you being realistic and having a realistic approach to life and outcomes in our community is viewed as negative.
All the time. The average, most of us going to be regular working people need politics. We're going to be regular working people that need politics. That's who we going to be. I'm sorry. If you had a dream, had a child. My cousin do it all the time. My cousin is 5'9". I said, just reverse that. He was 5'9" playing football, so was I at 5'6", playing football. I said, we was good. Where we at right now? We both end up selling drugs. Because of these dreams, you got these big dreams. Don't nobody never tell you that these big dreams come with a physical limitation. And then you let these idiots like LeBron James start talking like he was intelligent. No, Dumbo, you grew to be an unnormal height, 6'8", 260 pounds. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Nothing smart about you.
Yeah. Like who grows that? And that's why people got mad one time when I called them mutants. But who grows that tall? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who? That's extremely tall. That's a mutant thing. Like, if somebody's extremely short, you understand. It's funny that way. Like, if somebody's really short, if I say my cousin is 4'4", everybody understands. Oh, that's really short. Like, but if I say somebody is 6'8", you don't really understand that's an enormous giant-like person.
Yeah. And then you see him standing. I remember going to games, right, and then getting past
slow down on the floor. I take my daughters down there and see the players. Understand, even on board 6'8", it was boys making them look like they was my height. You're looking at extreme height there. And that's just what it is. The football, same thing. You see them boys come out of the locker room, the back of their head, looking like the back of a truck. This is not normal growth going on here. There's a lot of challenges that come with it. But the average of us gonna have a job, we're gonna have bills that we struggle to pay, the unstability of that job that people facing right now in these chats. Unstable currency of a job already, right now. But you over there listening to Deion, that ain't affecting that at all. Zero. In what world do you sit and let Deion words be the words you listen to versus Yvette Cornell and Antonio Moore?
Well, and I answer that. In a world where you don't understand yourself. In a world where you don't understand yourself and your opportunity. In everybody's mind, like, it's almost like I'm going to raise a Deion, or I'm going to raise somebody to marry a Deion or a Shador, or whatever the case may be. And there is no kind, and I don't even know, I think we got so caught up into white capitalism that we even lost a sense of community. It used to be a time like, if that what we wanted was to be stable and to go watch and to go watch the game or go watch whatever we wanted to watch or whatever and have fun. And like that wasn't a need to have this kind of affluence. We didn't have an appetite for luxury items and labels. Like that was not something we wanted. And I feel like in certain ways, like, hip hop has done some stuff. I feel like Real Housewives has done some stuff in terms of everybody's got labels and driving Range Rovers and stuff. And so now, like, there is less community and everybody just wants to be there. There's so much aspiration in our community. You could cut it with a knife.
Yeah, it's different. And as well, social engineer weaves in tight. It's weaved in tight. It's blinding us from our own circumstances, our identity. I sit in meetings all the time with people, and I'm like, how are you over 40 years older than me and don't think you're a descendant of slaves, but I know you. Like, you forgot your dad? You forgot your granddad? Did you forget these people or something? Did you forget the condition they were in? Like, if that ain't fine, weaved in social engineer to the fact that you're 40 years older than me. And I seen what my daddy did with sharecropping, with my own eyes. And you telling me, you 40 years old me, you didn't see what your daddy was dealing with? Your mama was dealing with? That you don't know you are who we talking about?
They've remade themselves. They've remade themselves. And I'm going to let you have the last word, William, but they have remade themselves in their own mind. Like, our people act like our people act like they're the creme de la creme. Like, if aliens came down to Earth and they walked around and looked at everybody, they would say, oh, the people who have the most money are ADOS. And then you would ask why, and they'll be like, because that's how they talk and that's how they dress. These are the people who have the most. And it's just like, no, this is just, they put on the accoutrements to make it look like they have the most. They put on the accoutrements of extreme wealth and they have nothing. And I'm sure the alien will fall slap out. And I'll let you have the last word, fam.
You took my last word, because that's exactly what we think we have remade ourselves.
Yep.
No, your parents had a story and their parents had a story. And you cannot separate yourself from that story till you do them an injustice. That'll be my last word in there. I
appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you. Have a good night. And I think it's almost, I feel like it's a delusion. I feel like it's some kind of psychological problem. The fact that we have remade ourselves into like these sort of king and queen characters, and not just in terms of like the reason the king and queen resonates is partly because everybody want to be from Mama Africa or something like that, some weird stuff. But it also resonates because that's how we think of ourselves, as like royalty. Like, we come from a royal line. It's just like, well, wealth would be a part of that if you came from that, right? Well, it could be other. Okay, fine. Never mind. So let me go to, I'm going to 702. 702, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Yvette? It's
Good.
Charlie from Nevada.
Hey, what's going on?
Ain't nothing much. I'm enjoying your callers today. I think this has been a good group. They have some very good insight.
Right? Yeah, I think pretty good.
What was that?
I said, yeah, I think pretty good too. We have a pretty good show of callers today.
Yeah, I'm gonna be brief. I'm gonna try to touch on a little bit from what everybody said because they said a lot of good stuff. The first part is I'm going to talk about. I think what the issue is, we have a dearth of admiration in Black America, ADOS in particular, because of where we come from, because of our treatment. So a lot of times we seek out vicarious life through people who are being admired. So someone like Deion, who has all this admiration given to him, he's on him for decades now. We want that. We want to be respected. We want to be admired. We want to be seen as being special because we don't get that. We don't get it on a minor level. We don't get it from parents. We don't get it from schools. We don't get it from our community. We don't get it from the church anymore. We don't get it. And so when we see somebody getting it, it's like, wow, that's what I'm starving for. I mean, financially I'm starving. Socially I'm starving. And also starving from that. I need that. Humans need admiration. You need somebody to tell you that you're good. You need a parent or a teacher or someone in your community to say, hey, you know what? You're good at this, or you're just a good person. Something, whatever it is, we need that, and we don't get it. And when we see these celebrities getting it, we want to live through them. We want to eat that up because we don't have it. And that's a lot of what you're seeing with this Deion thing. I see a lot of, particularly, I'm a black man of that age. I guess I'm an Xer at the end of the boom, and a lot of us didn't get that, and I see a lot of us looking at Deion like, oh wow, you know. But I remember him as the guy with the Jerry curl. He's Deion to me. To me, he's like a cartoon character. He's like Spider-Man or Batman or Superman to me. I mean, not in that way, not like a childish way, but in a way he's a cartoon. He's not a real human being to me. And I don't know why people don't understand that. Celebrities are not real human beings to me. They're not in my life. They're these characters that are drawn up in their own mind. They're created by the institutions they work for, whether it's Hollywood or NCAA or NBA or NFL. They're characters. You don't even know who Deion is. I mean, when he goes home, he probably takes all that stuff off, goes in the house and sits down like, oh man, ooh, that's tiresome to put that act on all day long.
Got a whole different accent. And I've seen people like that.
we don't see that Deion, you know. We see the guy who's on, the showman, just like the Will Smith thing. We see the show. And that's what he wants to put out there because that's how he makes his money. And that goes to something else that the other caller just brought up about the gladiatorial aspect of this that no one's talking about. The fact that Deion may lose a leg. The fact that these are grinding sports where people can actually lose their lives. And people aren't talking about that. The fact that many of these athletes, particularly NFL athletes, many of them, even before they get to the NFL, in the NCAA, many of them take grievous injuries that stay with them for their entire lives. Sometimes they get head injuries that end their lives prematurely. We don't talk about that. This is not a glamorous thing because if it were, there'd be a lot of white people in it, but there aren't. There's mainly us. And it's because it is such a detrimental thing to your body and your mind and your spirit. I know people who, like the previous caller, I also played football in high school, and I was big enough to go to college. I didn't play in college, but I hung out with D1 athletes. I saw what they went through. I saw how they were treated. Not the stars. The stars are a different story. Deion lives a different life than most people who play football, college level and pro level. He is elite amongst the elite of the elite. He is not a human being. He is a cartoon character. He is a fantasy. Seriously, he's so far off the scale. He's a fantasy. He doesn't exist. It's like billionaires. They don't exist. They're so far off that you don't even see that. That's not real. But what we're not looking at here is this is a gladiatorial thing, and it's a distraction, not just for us, but for all of America. This distraction is put out there for people to look at. It's no accident that the NFL is our national pastime. It's national sport now, where they put it on TV on 5 different streaming networks and all the rest of this, because they want you to look at this distraction. It is a thing to root for. Colorado, I think I've been to Colorado once in my life. It's like, why would I root for Colorado or anybody else? What are we rooting for? Some group of little boys, because I'm old enough to be their father, who are playing this game and winning a game that day, that Saturday or whatever. It's a silly thing, but it's a distraction for the people to get them off of, hey, you know what? How much do eggs cost? How much does beef cost? What job do you have? Like the other guy said, UAW strikes. How much money do you make at your job? Can you afford a house? Can you make the rent? I mean, real things that are impacting people's lives. This Saturday, they can forget about it. Saturday's the day you should be organizing, to tell you the truth. You should be organizing to actually take action. Not just ADOS. Everybody should be organizing themselves on Saturday to take action in their community, locally and nationally to improve your lives. But no, we watch football Saturday and Sunday to keep you off of that. That's not an accident. That's not an accident. Now,
both weekend days.
Let's talk about what was that?
No, I said both weekend days. You got Saturday, and they got so many games, it's stacked. So you can go one game, time that game's over, you go right into another game. You just stay there and watch that one too. Yeah, go ahead, fam. And then Monday you back to work.
That's right. It's to destroy your time because they don't want you sitting at home thinking about your life. Wait a minute, what's going on in my life? Oh, wait a minute, what can I do? Let me start getting together with my neighbors and start doing stuff. They don't want that. They want you to watch the game, talk about the game. Then on the week, look at the sports radio talk or TV talking heads. Oh, what happened during the game? It's silly. But what he said also about us pumping that as a way out. Once again, this goes back to the fact that what we've been talking about, the lack of any kind of generational legacy or wealth. So we look at, hey, this guy, Deion made all these millions of dollars, LeBron makes this money. Hey, maybe you can do that. And like you said, statistically, you can't. I mean, it's a lottery ticket. You're not going, on YouTube, when people finish watching this, click on this old movie documentary called Hoop Dreams. They broke this down to you. Our documentary is decades old now, maybe the 90s, called Hoop Dreams. They followed these young boys who were trying to go to the NBA out of the ghetto, and they showed the dysfunction and pathology of believing that you're going to hit this lottery ticket. And it's like, it was crazy at the time when it came out. It won all kinds of awards. It's a famous documentary. And they talked about how impossible this is. And why would you promote this idea of going to the NBA rather than fixing this draggedy school that these kids are going to, or telling them to do something else that's possible? You're going to give them this one thing. And they had one kid who was coming up who might have had a chance to go to college. They had another kid who had already ran through the hoop dreams. He was a grown man now, and he was still trying to get into the NBA as a grown man living in this degradation, right? Trying to still have that dream going on at 20-something years old. Wasn't going to happen. So there's that. And then there's the fact that, and I'll wrap this up, Deion is needed. The NCAA needs Deion. They really do, because they're beginning to feel the heat. Now, this is where I'm going to go against you a little bit, because I think Deion is important in terms of the NCAA needs him, because they are beginning to feel the heat, as in the NFL, and this coaching thing, because it's beginning to be like, wait a minute, hold on a second. There are no black people other than on the field. There are no black people. What's going on? No black people in coaching. No black people in the front office. No black people in the kind of administration. What's going on? And so you need somebody like a Deion to go out there and say, look, we got black people. We got this guy. And he's loud and all this stuff. You know, you listen to Deion talk, it's like, oh, there's black coaches course. If he can be this crazy, must be black coaches everywhere.
Well, and fam, and let's say one other thing.
They have to distract from the fact that there are no black coaches.
Well,
so you get this loud black coach over here that helps them say, look over there, look at Deion. Don't talk about that, just look at Deion, look at Deion.
But guess what they can also say? Guess what they can also say with that, fam? They can also say, well, Deion was the beginning. We're going to have more, right? So what he does, what he also presents is like the idea that opportunity is right around the corner, because we just had Deion. Right, and Deion takes up so much room, you won't even think there are no more coaches there, because he's on all the networks. He's talking to Stephen A. Smith. He's talking to everybody. So you wouldn't even. He's so big when he's in the room. Like you say, he's a character more than just like a human person. So you also believe, well, they had Deion. This is the beginning of something. Like that's how they give us these people. Well, this is the beginning of something. They had Deion. Which how fast you want them to move, how fast you want them to work. Give them time. It's the beginning of that conversation too.
Yeah, well, they do that. This is a strategy, because Deion's not the first; he's the last. That's how it's going to work. There won't be another prominent black coach for years, maybe a decade. This is how they play the game. Somebody like Deion comes out there, he's loud, and he says, "See, we black coach out there, blah blah." And then suddenly, for some strange reason, if we had a few black coaches, they disappeared. They did in the NFL. NFL, we thought we had it in the NFL. We had 2 or 3 black coaches, 2 of them played the Super Bowl, and next thing you know, all the black coaches disappeared. We went retrograde. We went backwards. We had fewer black coaches than we had before that. We thought that was the landmark that was going to bust everything open and have us out there. Oh yeah, half the league going to be black coaches. Oh no.
And then we just had that lawsuit.
It don't work that way.
The coaches brought a lawsuit, right? Whatever.
2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Yeah. Every time.
That's the way they play the game, and that's what. And Deion's part of that. Put him out there. We had this guy out there loud out front, and then after a while, when he goes away, when this show is over with, everybody get quiet. Nick Saban in Alabama can keep getting his $10, $12 million a year. You know, and we don't talk about that. How these other coaches, they have dynasties. He'll probably hand it off to his son. You know, this is crazy. I look at white coaches who hand coaching positions to their sons in the NFL and the NCAA. Hand coaching positions. Belichick's going to hand it to his son. I guarantee you his son will be a head coach. And it's like, is there any qualification for that? No, he's Belichick's son. I'm sure Nick Saban probably has a son somewhere. All of them, they do this. So they can hand it to their children. Deion sort of mentioned that sort of kind of, but he can't do that. He's not going to be able to do that. But they do it all the time. They talked about the coaching dynasties in the NFL. And why is it that all these guys are the sons of these coaches? There's no meritocracy. This is a fraternity of a legacy that's being passed down. We don't get to do that. They do. These are questions that they don't want to ask. That's why you get somebody like Deion out there to talk this, because those questions are beginning to bubble up. They were beginning to bubble up last time when they didn't have any black coaches. And they got that Miami who says he's black, but I don't know. Has he ever been called black before now? It looks like he was surprised when they pulled up there. I'm black.
Oh,
me? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I am black. I got something. And I was like, what? Dude, this dude even know he's black? I mean, it looked like he was shocked. You know, like, I guess I am.
Talk about me?
Yeah, you want me to do that? I'll do it for the job. It's like, this is the kind of madness that occurs. But I hate the fact that we get tied up in it and we don't look at the big picture of it, because it's been too long for this. We need to really look at this in terms of, what does this actually mean? Oh, this is a distraction. Why is it a distraction? Oh, because we're beginning to ask questions. We're beginning to ask the right questions. We're beginning to ask about money. We're beginning to ask about positions. We're beginning to ask about legacies. We're beginning to ask about meritocracy. We're beginning to ask questions that they really don't want to talk about, because then it opens up the door to what's really happening. And that's the danger. That's why he put Deion out there. He's funny. I mean, seriously, that stuff he's doing is hilarious. The sunglasses and the hat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hilarious.
And Deion, let me tell you, Deion feels like he feel like 10 black coaches.
Kind of progress, not just for black people, but for the sport itself. I'm saying, in terms of those boys out there, there's a few white boys out there too taking that beat. We need to be talking about how deadly that sport is and how nobody should actually be playing that damn thing. That's some barbaric stuff that should be left in the past. But we're not going to have that conversation. That conversation is not. Will Smith made that little movie, and that conversation had to be pushed way in the back room. Once those dudes were committing suicide because of brain trauma, we don't want to talk about that. But that's something that should be talked about. But no, we're going to talk about Deion and sunglasses and cowboy hats and foolishness and him on there making jokes with Stephen A. Smith and all that. We'll talk about that. But anyway, I'm going to let you go.
Great call.
Good show. Like I said, good callers. And you keep the faith. You keep doing what you're doing. And I'll keep watching. And like one day maybe we'll meet and we can talk about it. Like I said, I'm going to say this too. I'm going to end on this, because I get sick of people doing this. I don't agree with everything you say.
No, nobody can.
On this, but when we talk, if I talk to you, and I'm telling other people this, when we talk in public, when anybody speaks to you in public, we agree on what we agree with. We go behind the screen, behind the closed doors, and argue back there and have kick down, knock down fight, and then be ready to go swing blows. But when you come out front, you talk in a unified voice. Talk about what we agree on, because we want to get that. We can argue about the other crap in the back room. I'm sick of people doing that.
In the parking lot.
Spread that. Hear my voice. Spread that. We agree in public. We disagree in private. That's how it works, people. Please keep that in mind. So I'm going to let you go on that.
Appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you. We argue in the parking lot. No, I'm just playing. And I never understand people people argue very disagreeably sometimes. Like, it ain't got to be all of that. It ain't got to be that bad. We can just politely disagree. Woo, it's a lot. I'm going to 415. 415, what's going on?
Hello?
415, yeah, what's going on?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, caller.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I was calling. It was taking. I've been waiting forever, so it was almost difficult to even keep my thought in mind what I wanted to say. So.
Well, all right, caller. You have a good one. I don't know. Like he was on for a while. He didn't write down his thoughts. I appreciate it, but Lord have mercy. I don't know. We see the thing is, let me just tell y'all something too about YouTube. Like if you're doing a show, like you can have all great callers, and then one caller comes in at the end, and like it'll just change the mood for the entire thing. So you just got to get them out of there. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but it's just like we've had great callers. I don't need to hear nothing about like everything you went through. And I appreciate it. I understand it's been long, but I didn't make you do that. You could have gone. You just can't change. We've had such good callers. The energy got to be the energy. Going to 480, and that's gonna probably be my last caller of the night. 480. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
How you doing? My name is Al. I'm from Tempe, Arizona.
What's going on? I lived in Tempe for a while.
I'm just calling about the entire Deion fiasco. And, see, my perspective is coming from the youth experience. So, I'm always thinking it's a 53-man roster team. That's 53 brains that can possibly build an enterprise or some type of Goliath, anything, if they came out of the sport. So they're trying to compete for a spot to, get a contract signed from someone else. So when I grew up playing sports, and I didn't realize it until I stopped that we were competing against each other instead of working together. So, I mean, and this is what I see. So if it's thousands of schools with hundreds of players on every team, it's always going to be a deficit. And I don't get why parents still put their children in sports. And to me, it's a program. You come out the womb, the football field is there, and the basketball court is right there. And there's nobody telling anyone that something else exists outside of that. And just thinking back to my childhood, we was in the hood playing outside and things like that while Silicon Valley was being developed. And nobody had the knowledge of anything to even give us. So now that I'm looking at it, it seems like we're light years behind technology because it was being done in private. So all we're doing now is we're using phones and we're using the computers that they prepared and built for us in private. So I just think sports is dying out, and he's kind of coming in to kind of revive them. He came to a desolate city, a dystopian city that was pretty much dead as far as sports go. So to me, I just think this is the end. I think education system and sports is the last to go before the new run or the new network comes in. And I don't know what it's going to be, but just as watching this whole fiasco of him using the children to say, I'm going to get my mom out the hood, I'm going to get my father out of jail and all of this, like that's like 1990s. All your mother got to do is work on her credit score. She can get her own house. All your father got to do is work on his credit score. He can get his own house. You don't have to go play professional sports to get your mama out the hood. It's easy to do that. You can pick up and go. You can get on welfare in another state.
It's not my responsibility to get my mom out the hood. I'm just gonna tell y'all that. That's not my job. Like it's not my job. Money flows down, not up. I don't know who thinks it's their responsibility to get their mama out the hood, the brother out of jail, daddy out the jail. Ain't nobody. Child, no.
I mean, if you listen to him, that's what he's putting young men on display talking about that. And I'm like, man, that's so old. Like, it should be something more elevatory, but I really I just don't see it. I see him he's stuck in the 90s. Nothing against it. I like watching the show. I watch it. I know it's a distraction. But I'm like, at any time, somebody can come push a button and shut down the school system and shut down the sports and have you go do whatever.
All right.
So you're not really in control.
All right, fam. I appreciate you calling in. I'm gonna try to get to one more caller. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I don't even know what be going on. 404. Okay, 404. This is gonna be the last one. Since you said you in the chat.
Hey,
Hey.
Hey, happy Wednesday.
Thank you.
So I'm so glad you took my call. I'm gonna be really quick.
Okay.
I don't watch sports, but I've called in before. This is Renee from Atlanta. So I have worked in government before, and my perspective is I don't think parents should spend $400-500 putting children in sports when only 1% of college athletes actually make it to professional sports. It is not a good use of your money and resources. I think it would be better spent putting children in in programs that can grow them in other ways, whether it be hobbies, whether it be improving their academics, that sort of stuff. Number two, if you don't like welfare, how do you like professional sports when sports stadiums are highly subsidized by your tax dollars? That doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then three, have you been hearing about all these young kids that are young, middle school, high school, college athletes just dropping dead? What is that about?
Well, they're the number one. College athletes are the number one category of people to die of major cardiac death. Like in terms of cardiac arrest, they're the not college athletes. Young athletes are the number one category of major cardiac deaths. They always have been because they have undiagnosed things. Because even if you play sports, most of the time they don't make you go to the doctor and get an EKG and all the stuff you really need to detect underlying cardiac issues. They don't do that. Like when I went, they just had somebody. When I ran cross country and stuff in high school, and they just had somebody took your blood pressure and did some stuff and signed you off. Right? You didn't even have to have a note from the doctor. So they've always been the number one category of people that suffer cardiac arrest. But yeah, call them.
I didn't realize that those exams were so low bar because you have to do exams. You have to do a physical fitness test for some jobs that you work, way more than that. And then the last thing I wanted to say is I don't follow celebrities, and I think we would all be better off to take that energy that people pour into celebrities and following their lives and living vicariously through them and reinvest that in yourself. Deion Sanders may be wealthy, but he has a crap load of health issues. And so my question for the audience is, what use is money or wealth if your quality of life is declining? We don't know what his quality of life is when he's at home.
Yeah, a lot of blood clots. I thank you, fam. I absolutely appreciate you calling in. I'm gonna try to get this wrapped up. But yeah, I agree. Like we always assume well, if I had that kind of money, I don't even care. I don't even care what the quality of life. I mean, he got that kind of money. And you don't even know that man could be up moaning all night long. You don't even know. Just like they said when he was at Jackson, he was out of it for sometimes when he was before surgery, for most of the week. And he would be there for games and stuff. He was, because of the toes and the blood clots and all of the stuff, had been massaged and a lot of stuff going on. So it was just a lot. So I agree. We always assume that everybody, because they are wealthy or because of whatever, that they automatically just have this wonderful kind of quality of life. And that's just not the case. They could, people be getting beat on, all kind of stuff be going on. But our people, I think they would say, I don't care what is going on. It's probably better than my life. And that's just, they got more money than me. And that just is what it is. That just is what it is. But fam, listen, thank you. Appreciate you for sticking with me till almost midnight, the witching hour. Please subscribe. Please like if you have not done those things. Also, please, if you haven't joined the foundation, please go to joinados.com and take care of that. Keep it easy breezy. Don't bother nobody. Don't let nobody bother you. If you are on Patreon, I will see you tomorrow. Patreon's every Monday and Thursday, and YouTube is Wednesday. If not, I will see you at this time, hopefully next week. If I'm not here, you'll get a Patreon short. So keep it easy breezy, family. Take care of yourself. Don't bother nobody. Don't let nobody bother you. Please just take care of yourself and focus on your family and collective uplift and not all this celebrity stuff. Please try to stay focused. All right, family? Till next time.